Antarctica. 5.5 million square miles of frozen silence at the bottom of the Earth. No cities, no highways, no human culture. It's the only continent without a country, but not without ambition. Claimed by many, owned by none. And in the not-so-distant future, it could become the front line of a global power struggle. First sightings of Antarctica were made in 1820, but of course, no one can confirm who got there first. Fast forward to today. 7 official claims have been made, but it's complicated. The UK claims this slice, France claims this slice, Argentina claims this slice, Australia claims this slice, Chile claims this slice, New Zealand claims this slice, and Norway claims this slice. See the problem? These claims are not even aligned with each other. 3 of the claims overlap, and it gets even better, because the US and Russia don't recognize any of these claims, and they're also there, researching and discovering, not bothered about making claims. And what about China? Also there, rapidly popping up new research stations. China, also not having made a claim, has its own trick up its sleeve. It reserves the right to make a claim later. Enter the Antarctic Treaty, the global contract designed to keep all of this mess in check. In 1959, 12 of the world's most influential powers got together and drafted an agreement to avoid a free-for-all for the Southern Pole. In essence, it said, nobody owns the region, you can hang out, but only for science, and no military, and no nukes. And incredibly, it has worked. So far, it's been just a bunch of researchers, penguins, and flags flapping in the wind. No wars, no military standoffs. Today, the treaty is signed by 54 nations worldwide. But here's the catch. The treaty doesn't erase the claims, it just freezes them. And with rising global tensions, melting ice, and untapped resources beneath the surface, things might heat up soon. Because, let's be honest, countries aren't building bases in the coldest, most hostile place on Earth just for the love of penguin research. What's really buried under all that ice? Resources, lots of them. Antarctica is believed to sit on top of massive reserves of oil, natural gas, coal, and rare earth minerals. The kind of stuff that powers economies, technology, and global influence. Right now, mining is banned under the Madrid Protocol, an environmental add-on to the Antarctic Treaty signed in 1991. But, and this is a big but, that ban can be reviewed starting in 2048. Article 25 of the agreement allows the treaty to be reviewed starting in 2048 if a member state requests it and most parties agree to reopen negotiations. That is just a couple decades away. And countries are already jockeying for position, building research stations, expanding their presence, and planting more flags. Not for science, but for leverage. Because when the ban expires, all bets might be off. But the race, though, doesn't start in 2048. It's already begun. Again, countries aren't just setting up shop in Antarctica for the love of researching flightless cryoavian denizens of the polar biome. They are building logistics, infrastructure, and strategic positioning, all to ensure they're ready when the doors finally open. Logistics, the real currency of Antarctica. Moving people and supplies across the ice isn't easy. It takes airstrips, icebreakers, and supply chains to get anything done. The US has Phoenix Airfield at McMurdo Station, a crucial hub for moving cargo inland. At the same time, China is building its own blue ice runway, so they can land heavy cargo year-round even in the middle of nowhere. And Russia and the US have some of the most powerful icebreaker fleets in the world. Every major power is ramping up their logistics. Then there's infrastructure. We're not looking at temporary tents or makeshift labs. These are permanent research stations, high-tech facilities built to last for the long haul. China's Kunlun Station sits deep inland, strategically placed on one of the most valuable spots in Antarctica. It's isolated, difficult to reach, and perfectly positioned for future territorial claims. The station is located in the Gumburtsev mountain range, over 900 miles from the coast. Why is that important? East Antarctica is thought to be rich in mineral resources like coal, oil, and rare earth metals. By building a station here, China is effectively positioning itself in the interior of Antarctica. Now, it's remote, and that's the whole point. Getting supplies to Kunlun Station isn't easy. It's only accessible for a few months a year due to extreme weather conditions. But this is part of the strategy. Building logistics and infrastructure for this kind of remote positioning is a long-term bet. If and when the area proves to be important, China will be ahead of the competition, secured and established. On the other side is the US McMurdo Station with a totally opposite strategic relevance. It is located on the Ross Sea in the Southern Ocean, just 80 miles from the South Pole. McMurdo is the largest US base and it holds immense significance. First, it's near key transportation routes. The station is logistically crucial. It's one of the main entry points points to the Antarctic continent. McMurdo is positioned on the coast, giving it easier access to the rest of the world by sea and air. The US is modernizing McMurdo with a $500 million overhaul. Why would it invest so much? McMurdo isn't just for science. It is a strategic military and geopolitical asset, a launchpad for the US to push its influence in Antarctica. Should tensions rise or the mining ban be lifted, the US would be in possession of one of the most convenient logistical entry points in the continent. And then there's Russia. Russia's presence in Antarctica is all about resilience and long-term positioning. With 5 year-round research stations, including the legendary Vostok station, perched in the magnetic South Pole, Russia maintains one of the most expansive footprints on the continent. While Russia hasn't made an official territorial claim, its continuous operations signal clear intent. Backed by one of the world's largest icebreaker fleets, Russia's strategy is simple: be everywhere, endure everything, and be ready when Antarctica's future becomes negotiable. In addition to the OG claimants and the big players, several new contenders have staked their flag in the ice. India, South Korea, Japan, Germany, Brazil, and even Turkey are building long-term stations, expanding scientific programs, and quietly carving out a seat at the table for whatever comes next. 2048 is still 2 decades away, but the groundwork is already being laid. Nations are pouring money, tech, and strategy into the ice, not for what Antarctica is today, but for what it could become when the rules are up for renegotiation.